I am 32, and I still think the world should rearrange itself around my moods. I married Jonah when I was 28 and he was 34. And from day one I treated him like a very reliable piece of furniture that occasionally brought me coffee. He is the kind of man who remembers anniversaries without reminders, who keeps jumper cables and protein bars in the trunk because someone might need them, who tears up at videos of dogs reuniting with soldiers. I used to roll my eyes and call him soft. I meant it as an insult. The Saturday it all cracked open, we were standing on the boardwalk at Half Moon Cove, wind whipping off the inlet so hard my hair kept lashing my cheeks. Jonah had just finished helping our friends Maya and Louis wrestle their toddler out of a stroller so the kid could chase gulls. Jonah was laughing, brushing sand off the little boy's knees, and I felt something petty flare in my chest. I had been teasing him all week about the baby talk he kept slipping into whenever anyone mentioned kids. I was drunk on 2 Bloody Marys and the certainty that he would never fight back. I stepped between him and the sun. "Look at you," I said. "You are too soft to be a dad. You would let a baby walk all over you. We would have a spoiled brat inside a week." The words landed harder than I meant, but I smiled anyway. Maya's mouth opened a little. Louis looked down at the planks like they had suddenly become fascinating. Jonah straightened, sand still on his fingers, and for the first time in 4 years of marriage he did not look gentle. His eyes went flat and cold. "You know what, Lena," he said, voice carrying over the gulls, "I am tired of being your punchline." He brushed past me and walked down the boardwalk alone, shoulders rigid. I called his name once, but the wind ate it. Back at the parking lot, he did not wait to open my door. He just got in the driver's seat and stared straight ahead. I told myself he was being dramatic. By the time we reached the apartment above the old pharmacy on Dock Street, he had not said another word. He went to the spare room and shut the door. I stood in the hallway holding my shoes, feeling the silence settle like dust. The next morning he was gone before I woke. A single text on my phone, "Went for a run." I rolled my eyes and deleted it. I told myself he would cool off, that we would laugh about this over brunch. I met my friend Cass for mimosas at the rooftop bar of the old textile mill. I recounted the scene, expecting her to join me in mocking Jonah's sensitivity. Instead, she set her glass down hard. "You humiliated him in front of everyone," she said. "That was brutal, Lena." I laughed, but it came out thin. "Come on, he knows I am just blunt." Cass looked at me the way people look at a stranger blocking an exit. Maybe being blunt is not the same as being honest. I left the mill feeling oddly weightless, like I had stepped off a ledge I did not know was there. When I got home, Jonah was sitting on the stoop, elbows on his knees, staring at the river. I sat beside him and tried to make my voice light. "So are we done sulking?" He did not look at me. "I am not sulking. I am thinking." "About what?" "About how many times I have let you decide who I am allowed to be." I tried to laugh again, but the sound caught in my throat. "You are overreacting." He stood up. "No, I am finally reacting." That night he slept on the couch. I lay in our bed staring at the ceiling, telling myself this would blow over by the weekend. But the weekend came and Jonah stayed distant, polite like a courteous roommate. He cooked enough for one, left mine in the microwave without comment. He took long runs at dawn and came back smelling of pine and salt, shutting himself in the spare room to work on freelance coding projects. I tried small apologies, jokes, even lingerie. He accepted each gesture with the same calm nod, as though I were offering him a flyer on the street. Tuesday I showed up at his climbing gym with 2 smoothies, thinking spontaneity would fix us. He was halfway up the bouldering wall, muscles flexing under fluorescent lights. When he dropped to the mat and saw me, his face did not change. "I thought we could climb together," I said, holding out the drink. "I already finished," he said. "I am heading to the sauna." I followed him to the co-ed lounge. The heat hit like a slap. "Jonah," I said, "I am sorry. What else do you want?" He looked at me through the steam. "I want to stop feeling like the butt of every joke you tell. I want you to see me, not the version of me you like to mock." I rolled my eyes. "You are being oversensitive." His jaw tightened. "And you are being cruel. Difference is I am done pretending otherwise." He left me sitting there, smoothie melting in my hand. The next week I started getting calls. My mother asked if everything was okay. Jonah's sister unfollowed me on social media. Cass stopped inviting me to trivia night. I felt the ground shifting, but I told myself it would pass. Jonah would come around. He always did. Then I came home from work on a Friday and found a thick envelope on the coffee table. My name in Jonah's neat handwriting. Inside, divorce papers. A yellow sticky note on top. "I have moved out. Please sign where indicated. I called him 6 times, straight to voicemail. I drove to the marina where he sometimes kayaked, but his car was not there. I sat on the hood of mine, wind needling my face, and for the first time I felt something cold and sharp that might have been fear. A week later, Maya texted me a photo. Jonah at the county courthouse, holding a small white card. Caption read, vasectomy done. No takebacks. I stared at the screen until the words blurred. I showed up at his office downtown, a converted warehouse full of standing desks and succulents. He met me in the lobby, arms crossed, eyes steady. You got fixed, I whispered. I got free, he said. I am not passing on whatever poison we have been feeding each other. I felt my throat burn. Jonah, I love you. You love the idea of me, he said, but you never loved me enough to be kind. He turned and walked back through the glass doors. Security smiled politely as I stood there, papers crumpling in my fist. I tried everything. Long emails, voicemails begging for counseling. I even sent his mother flowers, which she returned unopened. The world kept spinning, but it spun without me at the center. I started seeing a therapist, mostly to have someone to talk to, and slowly the picture tilted. I saw the way I had mocked his gentleness, the way I had taken his steadiness for weakness, the way I had confused cruelty with wit. By the time the divorce was final, Jonah had moved across the country to Boulder. He posted a photo on social media, arms around a golden retriever he adopted from a shelter, caption reading, learning to be soft in all the right ways. The comments were full of heart emojis from people I used to call friends. I stayed in the apartment above the pharmacy. The landlord raised the rent. I could not afford it alone. I packed boxes at night, listening to the foghorns on the river, and every sound reminded me of the life I had shredded with careless words. Last week I saw Jonah at a distance. He was back in town for a conference, standing outside the coffee shop on Willow Street. He wore a new jacket, same gentle smile, but his shoulders looked broader, like a man who had remembered how to carry himself. A woman with curly dark hair stood beside him, laughing at something he said. He looked at her the way he used to look at me before I taught him to stop. I crossed the street before he saw me. I kept walking, heels clicking on the pavement, heart raw and open like a scraped knee. The wind off the inlet tasted of salt and regret, and for the first time I understood that some things, once broken, cannot be glued together with apologies. Some softness, once lost, is gone for good.